This is day 981 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. I think I got that right after the last few days, being confused about what day it was. Today we're doing Siman Tov Reish Samaches, Seif Vav, to Siman Tov Reish Ayin Dalid, Seif Dalid. Vav, Ein Lecho B'Shmini it says Sudas Arab Ad Alayla. Shmini says should not eat the evening meal until nightfall. The evening meal Chayr eat it before nightfall. Yachad feels Arvis and after Marb. And Yochel Baruch Leisha B'Sukkah. Can't make a Baruch Leisha B'Sukkah. You should go to Shmini Tzeres because you're already Mekabel Yom to Shmini Tzeres. Varei Adan Yomu. And yet it's still days. You have to eat in the Sukkah. Nevertheless, if this happened, Baruch Leisha B'Sukkah. Shouldn't make the Baruch Leisha B'Sukkah. Obviously, brachas are not makiv. If you wash and you made a motzi, you should not make a relationship with sukkah. Sharatzino says, in terms of if you let it to eat, if you're allowed to eat more, it's not clear. But if it's within the quarter hour before it says, which is certainly ben hashmashos, then you could certainly, it's possible you can have to eat more, and since you already made hamotzi. I'm not sure why eating more would be an issue. I mean, once you start eating, you start eating. I don't understand what the issue is. Those who say you can eat early on Friday Shmini Atzeres. That's not a minute. Reasons are not clear to me. And any yontif we don't eat before nightfall. Shmini Atzeres is only one day. Osim HaKavas, we made a kavas, according to the bracha, we does a bracha, Asiyam HaSayim HaTorah, to conclude the Torah. Chaka Korin, Revreishis, and Revreishis Asher Bora Elokim Lansos. Batam Bezed, the reason Kadesh Lo Yipslim Bela Sota, there should not be an opening for the Satan to prosecute, Lomar, to say, Shisimu HaTorah, look, they finished Torah, but they don't see the Lam they don't learn anymore. Maftir B'Yom HaShmini Atzeres, not this Yom HaShmini also in Simchas Torah. V'Haftorah v'hi acharei Moshe. The story about obviously Haftorah for Shmini Atzeres for Simchas Torah. When it's all both on the same day. Chutz La'aretz and Chutz La'aretz Shmini Atzeres we call B'chor. Nichal b'Shabbos maschim Aseret HaAser. If it starts during Shabbos, they have to eat at 12 so you start from Aseret HaAser. The Yesh Mekobos, the places Shagam. Shagam b'chol ma'aschilin aseret aser. The fishu ma'azman ma'asus can make a say yes that is a minute by sukkahs. You always start from aseret aser because it's the time of ma'asus this time of year. Umaftirim b'yom hashmini atzeres and then after Shmini Atzeres after Melachim after is vayikach lo shlomo. Yisham dizkor Shmini Atzeres. Shmini Atzeres is mentioned there. Machzi Sfarim put back Sfarim bar Kaddish. And you say Kaddish machzi the shamash mashi baruch miyageshem. Shamash announces them before Shemini Esrei. Medina is Baru B'Siman Kuf Yudal Ayim Sham, and this was explaining Kuf Yudal. Brian says Enokim Min Aksfar, which is the Hasidim, perhaps also the Yidotim Mizrach, I don't know. Also Makovas Kam Shemini Atzeres, Archdias Arvis, they make Makovas on Shemini Atzeres after Marab as well. Top phrase Tamates, say that Yom Simchas Torah. The order of Simchas Torah. Al B'Chutzor Shosim Shnei Yomim Tovim. The Chutz to make two days. Leil Shim Mekachim Mizman. So the eve of Simchas Torah when Kaddish was to say Shechianu. Magam Matim Shlosh Tzivit Torah. The next day take out to be Tzivit Torah. Recording V'Echad. There's also bracha until the Parah Torah. When there's also bracha until the end of the Torah. V'Asheni in the second one we bracious Ada Shabur Lakim Masos. We from bracious until after Vaychulu. The time she is bar b'Siman HaKoydem because of the reason which is clarified in the previous Siman. Previous Siman. Oh, that we shouldn't. We don't want to start to be happy. So bad that we don't start the Torah over again. Shlishi Korah Maftir, and for Shlishi the Maftir come Esmo, like the Steva Haftorah. Vahi Achar Acharei Moshe. Magam Shein Lahem Rak Shnei Sivitor places only have two Sivitor. Korah Mishoy was a bracha. And if you read the first Torah, it's a bracha. Shniya bracious, and the second one you bracious. You take the second one again, for the first one again, for the maftir. The other says that's only if it was already rolled to the right place. so tzipur doesn't wait. But otherwise, it's best to roll the one which is already on the bima, and not to be over ala mitzvos, to take the first one. Which makes sense. You shouldn't read, Arukh HaShulchan, however, disagrees with that, because he says it's not proper to read two things in the Sefer Torah in order. So he holds, not like Mishnah Berurah, he holds he's really dafka. Go back to the original one. I'm not sure what the problem is. Reading two things in Sefer Torah. Keseda, obviously, if you only have one Sefer Torah, you have to do it anyway. So obviously some lack of derech eretz of some sort. I don't know why. If you know why, let me know. It's true. 8 times you need 3, you only have 2. Basically, we call this day some smeching because we rejoice. They make a festivity, a meal, a festive meal. And in Ashkenaz, the minute is that the people, the Chosim Torah, Chosim Bereshis, can make pledges, as this Mishnah, and they could call out, they invite other people to make a party. The custom is many people say for Torah, usually the whole kilo. The Kohen Parsha Chas, come here, reads those brachas several times over. But that's not concerned today. Came when Shinogu Kul, also it became universal minhag, so there's no issue of confusion. So the children go out to the Torah, read HaMalach go with him. Mishnah Berurah says, the Levush writes that you bless them based on the pasuk of HaMalach go, not necessarily that they say themselves. The Rabbah says interesting enough to hear the bracha before their second bracha. That's not, he says that's the minhag. I don't think it's doing it by us. Maybe that's just why they say HaMalach go after they say Chayil and after Mesochinu. You can have simultaneously 2 people get an aliyah. I skipped. Sorry, I skipped. The Ramah says that you can be Messiah even for with a cotton. That's last 8 psukim in the Torah. I guess you have even a child can read them because they're different than the rest of the Sefer Torah. But he says, people say it's time Chacham should go to the Torah, which is Armin. But he says nowadays when the Baal Kuri is reading, it's not an issue. Nowadays we don't allow the cousin to make the conclusions because in Torah say it's the highest bidder. Shubba says it's appropriate that the people who buy it should be crowned with Torah, at least from the distinguished people of the congregation. But now, the 2 people go up and make the bracha simultaneously. Mishnah says that some people doubt this. The Rabbah resolves the minhag. Now it's preferable that one should make the bracha, and other people should have Kohen be yotzi with his bracha, or that one should make a bracha before and motzi his friend. In other words, afterwards the friend should make the bracha and be motzi him. Says, look, it's not proper to have 2 people get the same aliyah simultaneously, even though it's not appropriate. Because the simcha of Simchat Torah, also can we do it? Because the night of Simchat Torah, people have the minhag to read the Torah and for the purpose of listening to the Tavos. They even say, so there's no basis for this. So that's interesting. For some place they don't do 5 people, they do 3 people because half one will know see, but some which has no basis. Because the minhag is to do it, but not to add on. The minhag in the Vardik was to do only 3 kruim. There's a psukim before we take out the Sefer Torah, Motzin Kol Sefer Torah, Shebehecho take out all Sefer Torah, which are in the Sami Abima Sheboim, and make 7 hakafos. Mishabur says some people do 3, some people do 7, like a Shana Rabbah. Each one is going to do Zmina. I've never seen anybody do 3. There's all sorts of the music and song and praise and dance in the honor of the Torah. Hashem Rakam Yot, the Pai and Al dancing Yosef. Coach Kozim and Shin Lamates. Chavar Torah Mutter. I have Torah, it's Mutter. Anyway, Ducham in the Shvigim, which shows Yain, the Yain Saraf Chakriya Sefer Torah. People don't Ducham by Musaf because they read, they're afraid that they drink. People drink before, after they get the Aliyah, and therefore they will not be in a state to Ducham. The Mishnah says, your Rabbah says that in Prague, Minig was to go up to Ducham during Musaf. Some people go up during Shachris, and that is our Minig. And they should be careful not to drink before they go up Shachris. And early in the morning, presumably, you're not going to drink. If he's Mugmar, they should be careful not to use incense, I guess, or Aviram, or to ignite them. Rashmir Kol Simcha. Sounds like firecrackers. Shabura says you're allowed to put gunpowder in a candle, an Erev Yontif, before you light the candle, even though it's going to cause the candle to become extinguished as a result. I guess they had fireworks in Twas Torah. Firecrackers, at least. Okay. Siyat Yishmaya, Soli Hilchos Lulav. Mazel Tov. Rabbi Hilchos Chanukah. Tavri Shayin, Gorim Ma'asurim and Muterim B'Chanukah. Things which are permitted and forbidden on Chanukah. Al B'Bai Sheni, Shemochu Antiochus HaRishoyim, Antiochsim HaRishoyim. There were many Antiochuses. There were several, a lot of them, if not all of them, were bad. As I saw, they decrees against the Jews, but and they negated their holy religion. When you also mitzvahs, they didn't let them be involved in mitzvahs. And they took our money, and our daughters. And they went to Mikdash principal places and made breaches in it. And they even made things which Torah. They caused anguish to Amisol. And oppressed us greatly. And saved us in the hands of and saved us by the children of the house of Chashmonai, Hakdoshim Atorim, Hakalim Magdolim Matisio Vanov. He says Matisio was a Kohen Gadol, although I don't think he was a Kohen Gadol. Before that, one of the Antiochuses and overwhelmed him. It was a supernatural victory. Chashmonaim with their group of pious people, they're very few. Antiochus Balaam Amrav. Antiochus came with a great company. Ufilim Harbe with many elephants, Rechav Parashim, chariots and horsemen. Hachashem Hachafetz Ba'amo Yisrael Hashem who wants the best for his nation. Israel Masargi Purim Yachaloshim gave the mighty over into the hands of the weak, Rabbi Miyam, even the many in the hands of the few, and the impure in the hands of the pure, Shem Yatzika, and the wicked in the hands of the righteous, by Zaydim Yisrael, and those who deviated from Am Yisrael. She stopped Antiochus, who joined with Antiochus. Kankin Nergu also killed Nimsuyaroski Torah, and were given into the hands of people in Torah. For as how the name of God was amplified and sanctified in the world. For a Torah and the light of Torah appeared in its pristine purity. And the name of Am Yisrael was made great among the nations. The culmination of the Nes was on the 25th day of Kislev. That was the first Nes. There's another Nes, they near Mitzvah Torah by the light of the Mitzvah, and the candle Mitzvah, and the light of the Torah. The Shabbos says himself. The Shabbos, my Chanukah, what's Chanukah? Tam Rabban, Chafei Chislev Yomi, the Chanukah, and 25th day of Kislev, the day is Chanukah. Tam Nayin, there are 8. Lo Mitzvah Behun, not to make a hesped lo yisanos, but not to be mizana during that fast on them. Shekshenichlusu anshi antiochus lahechal pi antiochus came into the Beis Hamikdash. Timuka Ashmani Shebehechal. They defiled all the oil in the Beis Hamikdash. Shegover Beis Chashmonai v'nitzchum. When Asim Chashmonai overcame them and were victorious, but could they check the to a pach echad shel shemen? They found one. In English, you should say cruise. One jug of oil. Which was there with the seal of Kohen Gadol. It was not only enough to light for one day. Nasa, a miracle occurred. And they were able to light for 8 days. In the next year, they made this a Yom Tov with Hallel and thankfulness. Be'er Advarim. When they purified the Beis Hamikdash, everybody was Tomei Meis in the war. Tomei Meis cannot become Tahara unless he undergoes Paraduma sprinkling on the third day and the seventh day. And then you need you need one more day to prepare pure oil. So that's interesting. I never realized that before, why it took 8 days. Should have realized it, because they needed to have become tar, and then they had to have a day to prepare the oil. Or there's another reason given that they were the pure oil was at a distance of 4 days. Until by the time they went and came back, there'll be 8 days to pass. So they had menorah. So now what to light the menorah. So all the carbonos tummy, they brought the carbon tea with Arukh HaShulchan. You do carbon tea board even if you're tummy. And also they could light the candles of menorah for the same reason. Also, when the menorah pushes off the tumah. You should arrange the candles always before God constantly. Tamid at Shabbos, constantly even with Shabbos. Tamid at B'chutuma, constantly even when you're Tamid. Rak Hashem Yamuchal store, but the oil had to be torn. Lo Troy Tumati Rak Tumas Mace, because the only this is of course the famous question. I think it's Meir Shul's question: why they need to have tar oil? It's the Taisus who said it actually. Yeah, I think it's Taisus there. Why they have to have Torah oil, Tumas Tzibor, but that's only Tumas Mace, Lo Shai Tumas Konvor Psachim, not other types of Tumah. Vashmani moved Tumas Acheros, and the oil became Tumas other Tumah, Mimagon Mason, from their being touched and from their being carried. B'chol HaZeisim Nitmu, and all the olives which are there in the Beis Hamikdash also Tamei, until they harvested new ones from the trees. Which were not to be Kabel Tuma. Took 8 days. Therefore, when they found this jug, which is sealed with the seal of Kohen Gadol, it was evidently at a depth or sealed away somewhere. Also, in the way that the non-Jews would not have moved it. The Greeks, if not, the Greeks had moved it. In the time of Sesed, they think that we're geyser on going that they have too much like the zav, so if they moved it, they would have made it tummy. Besides that, if they would had seen the oil, they would have certainly taken it. The precious stones were in there. It's the Ran. Because Baruch said, "Because Baruch made a miracle. Even though they only had oil for 1 day, for 8 days." Until they made Torah oil. It's made 8 days for Hallel, for thankfulness. I know it's referred to, but he says in the brackets, I'm Bach, if you must go some, as you shop in Pshitus. The Bach says, or what he just wrote resolves it. Even though the miracle was only for 7 days, when this is of course the Beis Yosef's famous question, why can't you keep 8 days if the miracle was only for 7 days? Because they had 1 day. Now they only lit 1/8 the first day. So the miracle was also on the first day. Some say if he should be mitzvah mila. Another reason they made 8 days because they weighed the mitzvah of mila they were deprived of that. And because for 8 days, so 8 days. You brought him by Gos Mordechai. Yeshkasim, those who wrote, and it says some say the Chanukah Sabayis, which they made, was for 8 days, and tomorrow the Arukh HaShulchan will get in that in greater detail.